Hey y'all, we're back on the scene on the Young Thug YSL Rico scene with retired detective dentist who investigated, did his investigation. I apologize. In the Young Thug Jeffrey Williams YSL Rico. All day, and then today we're gonna go 146. Okay, I'm gonna give you my commentary and everything. I say it's allegedly. Okay, and also I want to share with y'all that membership. I need membership, and we need to open up the doors for this channel. For doing a terrific job, and with you all, I couldn't do it. But let's continue with retired detective. Now, he's going to do some slick stuff. If you don't listen, if you really hear and you're not listening and understanding what's going on, they can slick words into and bring out things that not supposed to be there. Okay, let's check this out. Now, I like to break stuff down because y'all know how I am. Because there's some other people, just because you are a faster learner than them and you don't understand what's going on, that's why I have to do, have to break it down for them, okay? Because they really not into what's going on politically. Then it's a young man named Donovan. Donovan is one of the leaders of a particular game, but I don't want to get into that. Donovan was a young man, big man that got shot in the repping area that got shot. He was shot down, gunned down. I apologize, gunned down uh, with his friends surrounding him, okay? And also the barbershop was hit. The barbershop was hit. Detective Dennis is going to give y'all details on what he experienced and notate doing this doing the gun shooting.
Testifying to that. All right. And again, during that period of 2015, did you work with your partner, retired Sergeant Gaither, to assist in solving some of those shootings that occurred after the death of Donovan Thomas Jr.? As a member of the gang unit, when you first learned of the shootings that occurred after Donovan Thomas Jr. passed away, did the gang unit or yourself immediately begin investigating those cases as retaliatory shootings? How did the gang unit recognize or realize that some of these shootings were in retaliation of the murder of Donovan Thomas?
Okay. Now, very interesting question. How can you tell a shooting is a retaliation of an incident? How can you tell? See, here in Atlanta, I don't know about nowhere else, but I can't speak from Georgia because I'm born and raised here. We be like, oh boy, y'all did this to so this about to happen. Oh, they shot so. Oh, it about to go down. And I knew that Rich Homie Quan, something was going to allegedly happen. It happened to him. Dealing with this case as well as what Mr. Retired dentist is going to tell you.
In the first days between January 11th and January 19th, were there homes that were shot at that were either family members or friends of Kenneth Copeland?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I believe the microphone may not be working. Not yours, Miss Hill.
The witness last night? The witness mic. You just pull it closer to you.
No, it wasn't on. I don't know. I had to hit the button.
Thank you. Can y'all hear it all right now?
Can you hear me?
Okay.
All right.
Oh, ain't nothing funny. Y'all think everything that every little simple thing is so ticklish in the Young Thug case, and Tear just so frustration to me. I get frustrated when I see so much kiki and kakan. Prosecutor, get yourself together, and whoever you have your witnesses, don't y'all supposed to meet up with them and talk to them? Come on now, make sure everything's straight. That's y'all job. Y'all don't understand this.
Where were those homes primarily situated?
Throughout the city. We had them popping up all throughout Atlanta.
Okay. Were there homes on Hendricks Avenue that were targeted in the days immediately following Donovan Thomas's murder?
Yes.
Right. And the addresses that were associated with those homes was that 193 and 197 Hendricks Avenue.
Yes.
Also, was there a home of Mr. Copeland's sister, 878 Oakland Drive, that was targeted as well?
Yes.
How did the fact that homes that were of the family members of Kenneth Copeland factor at all in your investigation after the investigation of those shootings after Donovan Thompson's murder?
I'm going to object as irrelevant at this point unless more foundation is laid.
Overruled. You may answer.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. The fact.
See, when she overruled that brought out a lot of things that Dennis said is going to mess them up later in his testimony. See, still know what he's talking about, but you know what, still? She might want to hear it. The judge might want to hear that. Okay? But let's keep listening.
The homes of Kenneth Copeland family members were targeted. How did that factor into your investigation as you began investigating these retaliatory shootings?
We basically would be notified by the patrol officer of the shooting. Usually they happen at night, and usually once they would give the name or they would provide us information indicating that it was a family member of.
Objection, confrontation clause.
Can you rephrase? Sure. Without saying what any of the officers told you, just how did it factor into your investigation?
We basically gathered information as they came in, and pretty much every night we had a different shooting, and we were tasked with investigating it.
Okay. Outside of Kenneth Copeland, did you learn of other homes of individuals that you all associated with YSL members, their family's home being shot or targeted?
Yes.
What was one of those addresses?
Ruby Harbor.
Okay. She'll say, "Oh, you already knew the answer, Hilton. See, you're gonna be professional. You're gonna be. I don't understand. Y'all prosecutors are prosecutors, but you are professional prosecutors. It's no. You talking to him like he's your friend. He might be your friend, but he's not your friend when business is going on. Now, listening to Dentist did a lot of investigation on Kenneth Copeland, okay? Y'all with me. And I appreciate those subscribers. I want y'all to get your memberships, okay? He mentioned Kenneth Copeland. That's Little Woody, y'all. For those who don't know Kenneth Copeland, that's Little Woody. And his sister house was shot up. Now, you got to remember now, Woody was on the streets. Woody was doing some things on the street. So when you do things on the street and everybody know where your folks live, so they know how to get to. They're gonna come if they can't find Woody, they're gonna find his family. So of course the kind of street person and gang bangers you're not banger, I'm gonna say banger, but in the in street situation, of course they gonna mess with Woody like that because they were looking for Woody. They thought Woody did something to Donovan. That's how I go, y'all.
And whose home did you identify that home belonging to?
A family member related to Mr. Williams.
And were you ever able to associate Mr. Williams with that?
So what they did was, and allegedly Woody may have something to do with it. Now, after Woody and his sister home was attacked, he retaliated and went and did something to Jeffrey Williams' house, better known as Young Thug. How do I know that? It's because of the street situation that they're in. Y'all don't know nothing about the streets. So I know about the streets. You don't know about nothing about the streets. So the street talk. That's why it went from, and then too, it went from Woody to Thug. He thought Thug had something to do with the shooting of him, his sister house, and his home.
Specifically?
Yes.
How did you do that?
I pulled his driver license picture.
Do you have permission to approach? You may. I'm going to show you what's been marked as Station Exhibit 540 Yankee. Do you recognize 540 Yankee?
Yes.
And how do you recognize 540 Yankee?
It's Mr. Williams' driver license picture.
And is that, I'm sorry,
From 2015.
okay. And is that what you pulled as a part of your investigation?
Yes.
And is that a fair and accurate copy of the license information that you pulled regarding Mr. Williams back in 2015?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state would like to tender Stacey Exhibit 540Y into evidence.
I'd object to the admission of that evidence as hearsay.
Overruled.
Your Honor, understanding the court's ruling, there's some personal information on a driver's license. We'd like it redacted.
Okay. And we're not going to publish. We're just going to ask him to cite the address, Your Honor. But we'll redact it for later. Okay. What is the address on Mr. Williams?
You said you wasn't gonna publish the address, but y'all, come on. They just use she just used psychology on y'all. They're not publishing the address, but guess what they did? Retired detective dentist. Oh, he the gang unit, whatever he is. I know he retired. He's gonna read the bar address out anyway. That's his personal. Why are they reading people address out in the public like that? That's what That's what Steele didn't want them to say was his address. No. Instead of just because you didn't publish, you did speak on it. Listen, y'all.
License.
3424 Ruby H. Harper.
You see that? Still reading that boy address out. They know what they doing.
Boulevard, Southeast Atlanta, Georgia.
And was that the target of one of the shootings between January 11th and January 19th, 2015?
Yes.
So Thug house was shot up around the time January 19th.
Now, as these shootings came in, were you trying to identify potential suspects of those shootings?
Yes.
How did you go about doing that?
We would start with a police report. And with that police report, we would try to find whatever evidence we could with that, reaching out to the victims or witnesses, any car descriptions, suspect descriptions, and we would go from there. We would also reach out to our crime lab to see what shell casings was recovered. They would do what's called kniving, and kniving would tell us if it was related to a specific weapon or any other shooting incident that had occurred prior.
Did you all go to social media in order to see if you can get any intel on what may be happening out in the community?
Yes.
Okay. Were there any particular social media pages that you all went to or that you saw that informed?
So, see what happened was during his investigation. If he didn't go through, if he didn't get any information, he got majority of his information from the social media, which is not good. Because you'll say what you want to say on the social media. You'll lie on the social media. You'll tell the truth on the social media. So he really has to be cool with that. He got to really examine that very carefully.
For investigation.
Yes.
What was some of those pages?
Immediately after the death of Donovan Thomas, there was a fake Instagram, I believe, page created, death to snake N-words. And from that, it was almost like a play-by-play of what was going on. Or
What? They were that stupid to post on Instagram? See, y'all young people, y'all do crazy stuff, though, for real, though. Y'all will do stuff like that. We ain't never did nothing like that. You don't do things and then televise it. So this is what the retired detective Dennis said. So on social media, y'all did some. This is what he alleged.
those associated with Mr. Thomas, they basically were sending threats and telling what the
Yeah. Overruled.
Best evidence rule.
That's
Evidence rule. Best evidence rule.
sorry. Best evidence. Do you have? I do. All right. Did you collect? Or did
She
you
knew Hilton. See, Judge, you sitting back there thinking that girl with that curl her hair, different style and everything. You think that she's not being slick. Stop, read through these people and stop trying to be their friend and be their boss. She just did something slick with the evidence. Still picks it up. You can't slip through. Still very professional with his job. He loved his job, and he seek and listen. So the judge didn't even pick up what was going on. He had to tell her. First she said overruled. You got to listen, Judge, called Miss Hilton is slick.
collect some of those posts?
yes.
Thank you.
Permission to approach? You may.
Now she want to approach.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 546Y. It's 546Y, one of those such posts that came from that Death to Snake N-Words page.
Yes.
And is that a fair and accurate depiction of one of the posts that you saw in the early days after Mr. Thompson was killed?
Yes.
At this time, the state would like to tender State's Exhibit 546Y into evidence.
Object to any hearsay in it. It's being used for the truth of the matter.
Your Honor, we're not offering any of the words in there for the truth of the matter, sir, but just to illustrate that.
Okay, when it come down to yak ain't doing but standing on top of his tall. He's standing on top of the car looking crazy. But that's what young folk do. That's the style. That's young. You got to get young Atlanteans. That's what they did. They do something. They do anything to get on the camera. Dentist and Hilton about to stir up some slick evidence that not even supposed to. Look at them pants he got on. That's his style. Y'all, we called them, back in the day, we called them pants the water pants. But they expensive pants, but they call water pants. We used to call them water pants, y'all. We used to wear those pants below our ankles like that. That's his style now, during that time. And I don't know why they so what was so big about him standing in the car. Look at Hilton. Know she messed up, walking like Oliver. She knows she messed up. Let me take it back. They want y'all to see. We know about the Bloods and the Cribs. They can do whatever they want to do. Look at I just they trying to show you tattoos. Honey, y'all got police officers with tattoos. These boys look so different, I don't even know who they are. They not talking on this, y'all. They showing Instagram pictures, talking about code. You see how she putting that right there? See, she don't even supposed to show this. Look, she think she slick. And he breathing hard. He know what he know what just happened. Get that hair together. What's going on? Yeah, they doing slick stuff.
Now, looking at Stacey Exhibit 1 TT, while
See, they talking, but somehow we can't hear. They did something slick. They turned the volume on. And look at her walking out slow. She know what she did. And Judge, you better not take up for her. Look at the guys with that talking. They about Weinstein about to break it down, boy. Look at him. He running up there to that mic. Look at Weinstein. Look at Miss Hilton. Why Miss Hilton turn her head, y'all? Like, oh man, he right there. Look. And I didn't like how the judge reaction when Weinstein, when she see him coming up there, she act like she didn't want him to say nothing. She caught on. That judge sat up there and caught everything Hilton did. But she don't want nobody. Have y'all ever been in a situation where people do things wrong and they don't want you to say nothing? And then they don't want to be bothered with you because you told on them, because you picked up on what they were saying and you didn't agree. Whatever this situation about. Look at her gonna put her head back.
This one you cannot fix. This is bad character evidence that came in. The state should have prepared their witness.
Now, Weinstein, I love you and I like you doing an awesome job. But don't tell no judge what she can't fix. And look at Hilton with her hand all on her chin. No, she know that officer. See, Dennis knew what he did. Dennis is a detective, okay? Now, if Hilton can't do it, she'll make sure that the witness do it, okay? That's just like mostly saying that y'all can say a lot of stuff in the chat that I can't say to respect the policy. So what Hilton did was let Detective Detective Dennis speak. She knew what was going on. And Judge, you been caught it. And you sat up there with your hair like that. And y'all got to get serious and start worrying about this TV presentation. But Weinstein gonna tell her. But again, you can't tell the judge what she can't fix. She can, but it's the way you have to say things.
Mistrial? This absolutely cannot be unheard by the jury. It was heard clear as day in his deep, sonorous voice. They have heard it, they have absorbed it. It cannot be fixed. 404A, Your Honor.
I'll hear whatever response the state might be able to make on that.
Your Honor, that was not the state's intention.
But see, Miss Hilton, how many times, and Judge, you've been sitting up there getting paid, so I know you listening. How many times have you heard the state said, even Miss Love, as well as Miss Hilton, this state didn't intentionally meant to say that, and then the judge gonna take up for her and say that I know you intentionally didn't intentionally do that, but it was detected. But Judge, what you don't understand is they are connected. That's her buddy. Yes, it was intentionally. And you gonna take up for it. That man, that girl right here, they feel you Judge so weak they can feel her weakness and they know her weakness. And that's what you don't let nobody know. And she can't even hold her head up. I don't know if she's looking at her or she's looking down. I'm talking about the judge.
Your Honor, that response didn't even come across my mind. That would even have come out of our.
That ain't connect. Now here we are with young men's lives over there. Not your life, Judge, but his opponent, his defense, his client life that y'all playing Jeopardy with here. And the only thing y'all think about is y'all hair. Come on now.
Was solely talk about the vehicle that he was standing on and the fact that he was standing on that vehicle.
When they showed that vehicle, you should have opened up your mouth and look at you turning your head, line. Turn your head. And you sitting there looking at her do something. Man, y'all, I'm telling y'all, don't get in trouble in Atlanta, y'all. Please, don't get in trouble. Don't get in trouble. That's all I got to tell you. Okay, it's going to be hell getting out of it.
Just give us an opportunity just to look at some case law just to see if...
Your Honor, I'm sorry. How many times has this man testified in a trial? How long has he been I know he's a retired investigator. How long has he been an investigator? He knows he is not supposed to say that, Your Honor.
I would find it.
Judge, you don't do that. Don't do that, Judge. Because tell the truth. Man, that man is right now. You talking about that man retired. He ain't stunned this case. He don't move on with his business. But look.
Surprising if he isn't aware that that's not supposed to come out. I do not believe that the state intended to elicit that, and I think that
you see that? What? Fine, Judge, don't do that. Judge. Yes, she did. Intentionally. She did know it. They know what they doing. Good child. They played you that time, Judge.
self-acknowledged up here at the bench that you don't believe that was the state's intention.
I do not believe it was their
Nonetheless,
intention.
it happened.
Okay, so Now, Weinstein, you said at the bench that Hilton, the state, didn't intentionally. Why the heck you say that? But you saying that the witness intentionally did that, but not the state. Y'all can't be taking up for the state like that. So you know what? Since you said that, Weinstein, that means that the prosecutor didn't intentionally do that. The witness realized, y'all got to realize the witness intentionally did that. They work together. They are colleagues. They work together. It's supposed to have been intentionally shown to the jury. Man, y'all can't fool me.
I'm going to give y'all about 15 minutes or so to find whatever you might.
Now listen to this.
What is the state?
This was what she came up with.
Will ask that you deny defendant's motion for a mistrial. The state would like to cite the court to Swims v. State, which is 307 Georgia, 651, a 2020 case, Your Honor. In that case, which was the defendant's own enumeration of error, and I'm in Division 2 of that opinion, Your Honor. Swims contends that the trial court erred in denying his motion for mistrial after his character was improperly placed into evidence during Chelsea Owens' testimony. When the state asked Owens if Swims offered any reasoning for why he wanted to escape, Owens responded, and this is what the witness said in that case. I asked Swims, why would he do that? I said, why would you want to do that? He told me because they did not honor his fast and speedy trial. He was looking at getting off on a technicality because they didn't honor that. He didn't have that for his defense. He said he was doing time. He had a lot of time in West Virginia that he wasn't never going to get out. In that case, Swims' trial counsel immediately asked to approach the bench and moved for a mistrial. The trial court judge overruled Swims' objection and denied his motion. The state resumed its direct examination of Owens, who then testified that Swims provided another possible motivation for attempting an escape, that Swims had murdered Clemson. I asked him, did y'all kill that child? And he told me, why do you want out of here so bad? So that was how the
Okay, but why we listen? Come on.
I'm going to skip down. A trial court's denial of a motion for mistrial based on the improper admission of bad character evidence is reviewed.
But that's not what happened here. All that you reading about that boy that man, young man case, you got to realize that this, it doesn't needs to be in this RICO over here. You speaking of somebody else name. Not yet.
Deny their motion. Furthermore, Your Honor, other factors that you look at in order to determine whether or not a mistrial should be granted is the nature of the statement, other evidence in the case, the actions taken by the court. The what? The actions taken by the court.
She said, see, she trying to tell you what to do now, Judge. They trying to tell you what to do as weakness. Hold your head up and talk to that judge and start holding your head down. That's why the judge said, what?
Was the reference an isolated and brief, and whether the jury's exposure was repeated and extensive, and was it inadvertent? Additionally, Your Honor, within the indictment, Your Honor, we did charge Mr. Kendrick with, as one of the
Kendrick, what?
Indictment, which is Act 58, and he's also charged in this indictment in count 63 of this indictment, Your Honor, of possession of a firearm by a convicted
You know
felon.
what? I am so disappointed in what I'm looking at in this trial. This lady just sat up here and said she didn't intentionally say this and that, or either her witness, but she said the state wasn't intentionally. Really, listen to what you telling the judge about Kendrick. And if the judge not paying attention, you intentionally said what you said to help your case out in this evidence, in the situation that you're talking about. Whew, yeah, let me skip it. Now this one, the judge seemed like she got a little attitude when it's time for Weinstein to take up for his opponent.
Ms. Weinstein.
Thank you, Your Honor. In the Swims case cited by the state, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do not believe that was a seasoned officer that testified about the bad character. Is that correct?
I don't know if it
I
was.
No, I looked. It's not.
It's
It
an
was a
inmate,
fellow
right?
inmate.
And I think there's a distinction between a fellow inmate and an officer with decades of experience. And it's not just I that think that. I mean, I think if you go back and look at Posey v. State, which you may have already looked at, 152 Georgia Appeals 216, there you have a case where a seasoned officer testified about bad character of a defendant. The court in that case called for, there should have been a mistrial. It says that when it's impossible for the trial court by corrective instruction to rectify the harm done by improper testimony, a mistrial must be granted. And again, the issue here is you have a seasoned officer, someone with years of experience testifying. And in Posey, there's really very instructive language from our courts where they say we reiterate here. I'm sorry, I'm talking too fast.
And too loudly.
Now, she gonna talk about he talked too loudly. I can't even hardly hear the man. And then, by the way, at least he is speaking into the mic. He don't have control of the volume. Judge don't want you to say nothing, honey.
You know what? I'm going to tone it down. We reiterate here what we said in Boyd. It may well be argued that peace officers are not always well acquainted with our rules of evidence, and that statements such as the one here are merely
Y'all, for those who just tuning in, this is the young man that was standing on the car. They old men now, y'all. He the one was standing on the car that they showed, that Miss Hilton showed in the video. Man, they should have did their trial way back when they was teenagers, but they did the time for it, y'all. For anything that they did the time, and they on probation and parole, and some of them still locked up. I don't see what the problem is. But he the one was standing on the car. Hair was longer, and he was younger and skinny.
I'm going to stop the quote for a second to say something, which is, again, here we have a peace officer, here we have an investigator who is well seasoned. The quote continues, but if we refuse to reverse this judgment, then we provide no incentive to district attorneys and solicitors to counsel their witnesses, especially law enforcement officers, to avoid extraneous and inadmissible outbursts. It is high time that this court go on record as opposing without reservation such conduct by law enforcement officers. Posey is exactly on point. Posey calls for a mistrial. This officer should have known better. The state should have properly prepared the witness to not issue, to not blurt out, to not state.
Well, y'all, this he is telling the truth. That detective knew what he was doing. He was like, "Shit, I'm retired now, man. Bump this." He don't care. Not Mr. Weinstein, but the detective Dennis. He don't care. He retired. He done. Now that's why they're gonna be done with him in a few minutes.
State so clearly that my client was just getting out of prison. It cannot be corrected, Your Honor.
All right. Any last words by the state? Well, actually, never mind. It's the defense's motion, so y'all don't get any last words. All right. I think I am finding that this was not intentionally elicited on the part of the state. However, I also am finding that this witness is a law enforcement officer, should have known better than to make
Now,
mention of.
I appreciate what the judge is, her decision and the consequences of that decision that she's going to do on the, instead of this, she did something very professional, very smart. She said, listen to what she did, y'all. Instead of punishing the prosecutor or striking him, she got rid of the witness that they really wanted his testimony to hang, to not hang, but to remain in the what you call it, in the trial. So the judge did something very smart. Y'all not gonna outsmart me, prosecutors, but I'm gonna do this. He can no longer come back. Detective Dennis.
Of it. It is, however, significant that one of the charges against Mr. Kendrick in this indictment is that he is a convicted felon. Were it not for that, I would grant the mistrial motion. But given that the jury already knows that he's been convicted and is a convicted felon anyway, even without this testimony, I don't think that a mistrial is warranted. I am, however, going to give a curative instruction, and as a sanction for this having occurred, that's the end of the testimony from this witness. There's going to be no more testimony from him.